Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the transition to 5G and to see who do you guys think will be the first and of course the leader going into 5G. So this map is a little bit outdated. There are some markets missing, like Verizon has launched their 5G service in Boise, Idaho, and in Chicago. But for the most part, this map is pretty accurate. And as you can see, there's a lot of blue on this map. AT&T, and if you guys remember the video that I made about AT&T being the best network in the US, possibly, according to some third-party research. And I said in that video, a lot of you guys are saying that AT&T is the one being slept on. They're the sleeping giant. And again, I just got to say it, you got to keep an eye on AT&T. AT&T went top heavy on their CapEx in 2017 and 2018 to roll out this 5G. Now, I do want to say one thing. Currently, some people are saying it's a negative because there is not one device currently for AT&T that can make use of this on the consumer side. So if you have a business, if you are a sole proprietary, you can get a business plan with AT&T, get an S10 5G or no 10 5G, and then boom, you're connected to the 5G plus. For the consumer, the Note 10 5G is coming out soon, and you'll be able to pick one up on your plan. Will there be a plan change? I do think so. I think there's going to be some fee associated, just like what Verizon's doing. So stay tuned to the channel for that here in the future. As soon as that comes out, I will keep you guys up to date, but I do think AT&T is going to push and tweak their plans for this 5G rollout. Now, another thing that's negative about this rollout, other than Sprint, it's in these cities that you're seeing here on this map, it's only in certain parts of those cities. So if you're not in the downtown area, in the dense populated area, you're more than likely not going to be able to connect to any of these carriers 5G except Sprint. Sprint's 2.5 does have some coverage associated with it. So I've seen it being tested, and it's a pretty large wide area that does cover. So you're in the downtown area connected to it, then you're traveling on the interstate or the highway and you're still connected to 5G. With Verizon and their millimeter wave spectrum, that's not the case. Possibly the reason they don't have an actual coverage map because it's very hard to make out how you connect to it and where. And then, there's T-Mobile. Essentially, the initial 5G launch that they're pushing is very similar to Verizon's. But as you can see, T-Mobile's 5G is very small as of now in terms of the cities that they do have it. Los Angeles, Dallas, New York, and Las Vegas. Those are the only cities right now that they own the millimeter wave spectrum in terms of it already being approved. I know they purchased some more, but those were the cities that they previously already owned the millimeter wave spectrum. So it wasn't that big of a deal to roll it out. And also in these cities, they have a very tight, dense macro grid. So they didn't really push the 5G nodes, the small cells. They rolled most of this out on their macro footprint in these cities. So if you see one of their macro sites in these cities, you'll see a small square panel next to the other panels. It's a lot smaller, but it's still big enough so you can make it out. And that's where T-Mobile added most of their millimeter wave spectrum in these cities, because they have a dense network grid. And then of course that allowed them to push the coverage map, the 5G coverage map online as well. So T-Mobile not so heavily currently invested on the 5G nodes as with what we're seeing with AT&T and Verizon. So Verizon, I'm sure some of you have seen pictures already. The 5G nodes are the small cells that they're putting up. AT&T is doing the same with the C-RAN. So they're heavily invested into that. T-Mobile, not so much as of yet. I'm sure they're still literally waiting for this pending merger to clear or not. And then we'll probably see a change of strategy or, whatever the case may be. But for now, the most aggressive, I gotta say, in terms of the 5G core By the way, Verizon is very close to turning on the 5G core. AT&T not too far behind. But both, as I mentioned in previous past videos, both have been able to continue their strategy as planned. They have the funding, while T-Mobile and Sprint had to step back because of this merger, and they really couldn't fully roll out the individual plans that they had because this pending merger could change a lot. So again, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Who do you guys think will finish first or be the leader going into 5G? Right now, as it stands on the licensed side, AT&T has the best spectrum portfolio out of any carrier. If you match every single macro that Verizon has and you put an AT&T cell site there, AT&T is going to have the more capacity across the board because they have the higher bandwidth and the more spectrum. On the low band, mid band, and the high band, they just have more currently. On the low band, in certain areas, they have band 5, band 12, band 14, band 29. Those are all low band. They have literally the most low band spectrum out of any carrier. And then they have the band 2, band 4, band 30. That's mid band / high band. So they're spectrum rich, what most would consider in the licensed spectrum. Now the unlicensed, that's where money talks in terms of small cells, the band 48, the 46 LAA, the CBRS. So it's not a tight race as many would think, because the fact that Sprint and T-Mobile currently, that they're not merged yet, they just don't have nearly the funds to compete in this race. In this 5G race, the companies, they just don't. So then many people are commenting in the section saying, oh, prices are going to go up if this merger goes through. I'm telling you right now, if Sprint and T-Mobile stay separated, they are going to raise prices because of the cost technology that it costs to get 5G up and running. Prices are going to spike very, very high between the companies if they stay separated. If they combine, again, there is a chance that they can continue with promotional offerings, keep prices lower than what the competition is offering at the time. But if they stay separated, they're gonna have to raise prices to what AT&T and Verizon are charging to keep up. Because you got to remember, T-Mobile still has a smaller network, so they got to roll that out. They still got to continue with that expanding. So that's a separate cost. Then they got to still maintain the macro sites, upgrade those to band 71, get them all converted to the DSS, to the low band 5G. Then they still got to roll out the 5G millimeter wave at that time if they do stay separated, because they won't have that mid-band spectrum from Sprint. That's a separate cost. So their CapEx has to go up. Their CapEx has to, damn near match what Verizon and AT&T are pushing out to individually pay for all those contracts and keep the network going, and just to keep up. So those prices are going to go up either way you look at it. And if they stay separated, even so more than if they were to be a combined company. So that's how people have to look at it. I know that mergers usually are bad, but in this case where we're headed, that 5G is now here, there's no other way around it. 5G is going to be very expensive, running the fiber, running the 5G core, the nodes, the 5G nodes of how many have to be rolled out to make the millimeter wave work. As you guys know, the range is not very great on the millimeter wave spectrum. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration here with this. So I just wanted to make this video to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. I know a lot of you don't like 5G, but just like the 4K to 8K TVs, technologies moving forward, and the carriers are just adjusting and transitioning as we head into 2020, 2021, 2022. The next 2 years, I'm telling you guys right now, we're almost at the end of 2019. The next 2 years are going to be so, if you're a technology geek, are going to be so exciting. I got to track everything. If the merger gets combined, I got to track the T-Mobile and Sprint network integration. I got to track the AT&T rollout, the Verizon rollout. So there's just a lot of stuff going on all at once, and especially since now they're throwing money at the 5G and the networks. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. Leave all your comments in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload content like this. Also follow all of my social media outlets for more updates. I will be going on a trip at the end of this month. Phoenix, San Diego. I want to keep up to date with the networks. This time I'm taking AT&T and T-Mobile. Last time I just took T-Mobile, so there'll be some comparisons there as well. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.